Okay, today I have this Sharp, one of my least favourite kind of boom boxes. These used to chew tapes a lot, these things. This is one of these double cassettes, the sort of double decker ones with two tape decks, one behind the other. God, it won't even let me pull the door out. Quite useless in many ways, made the boombox more compact, but you couldn't like stop one tape, and I don't think you could even rewind one of the tapes. You know, so you've only got play, stop, eject on one tape. So you couldn't even rewind, fast forward it while you listen to another one or swap it over or anything. You actually had to stop playing anything to go to the other one. I don't know if you could, you can do continuous play and dubbing, so I guess if you load it up with tapes, a couple of tapes of what you want, you could play with one side of each and then swap them over. So depending on the scenario, but I used to like the two side-by-side decks, and the big problem with these was they used to have trouble with something to do with the capstan. I think they made a sort of knurled replacement capstan for these, because the shaft is big long one, big thick one, it's basically like a VCR capstan shaft, and you've got two reels sort of stacked on top of each other. And I actually had a friend at school who had one of these. I think it was the one with the extra 3D woofer or whatever they called it, but that used to chew tapes on a regular basis, and they always did, I think. This is one of the what was it, WQ-T231, so this is like the most basic model of them, I think. Quite a horrible looking thing really, in my opinion. Someone's added a switch in here for mic on off. I notice there's a couple other holes drilled here. I mean, I picked this one up for next to nothing, I think. Just out of interest, antenna's broken. Another socket mount on the back, another two sockets mount on the back, maybe external speakers or something. But I thought it'd be interesting just to look at for old time's sake. It's been sitting around for a while now, and I've never got around to looking at it, but while I'm doing a few boom boxes, I think it's probably time I either fix this or toss this out. Look, that mount's broken. Assuming that is the mount. Yeah, it's got an arrow pointing to it, so it once held a screw. I think, oh, this one's missing a screw. So this one's definitely been played with. That's got one of those nice long screws in there. But yeah, I was never liked the look of them, and they were not the most reliable things. I did fix a few of these early on in my work career at a place that was a Sharp Agents. And when they were still repairable, I think they came out around maybe, what would it have been, 87, 88 maybe even. Don't think they were really around before that, might have been a bit earlier. See if we can find any dates on this. Nominal 5 watt, max 10 watt speakers, so at least it's got a couple of half decent speakers in the thing. That should unplug. It's not an antenna, what is that? Just an earth wire or something. Oh yeah, someone's definitely hooked in a couple of sockets in series with the speakers. And we've got this switch for the microphone. Does it have would have had an original microphone in it, wouldn't it? I wonder if it's up on the top there somewhere. Headphones. Oh yeah, there's the microphone and mix mic. It's got CD line in, which is a bit more of a feature than you'd expect on most of these type of boom boxes. There we go, but no date. It's an SHU2R motor, dual speed, because it did say it had fast dubbing. Oh my god, what in a mess is someone's been messing with the wiring under here. I can see a bit of red tape peeling off, so that's a sure sign that someone's been in it. But I can see bare wires and stuff by the look of it. Oh yeah, then they had this switch thing and stuff. Here they look kind of familiar now. I think, did you have to take that switch off to get the deck out? I think you did, yeah. That was one of those weird things they had. Oh yeah, and the little circuit boards with all these like early surface mount resistors or something, but they've got like the colour codes still on them. They're just like normal resistors mounted on the back of the board, which I think was kind of I don't know if it was a uniquely Sharp thing, but not many things had those, I don't think. One of the oddball things about these things. A little bit of dead cockroach, lovely. So what on the earth have they done here? Oh, that's where our mic switch comes in. Look at that. What on earth? Ah, is it? Switch is broken too, but look at it. That's not. I wonder if that's the pause switch or something. Because it looks like it's in line with the motor switch. Or across the motor switch. Ah, lovely job you did at that. The belt actually looks good, though there is a massive amount of dust in this thing. Absolutely filthy. God, there is some grot down in that deck, so that deck's got a heap of stuff in it. Not looking the best. Let's pull these head wires. Still got something that's caught around there. So at least it looks like the deck actually unplugs, or it did until someone added a switch to it. Yeah, they've just put the switch across the existing one. So I think the first thing to do will be to get rid of that. Because whatever it did, I don't want to know. Yeah, shame they don't put a date on a lot of these things. But we're going to have to do something to fix. Might just do a bit more with the old insulation tape just to patch that up, rather than risk anything shorting out. I doubt it matters if the wires short to each other, because they'll just do whatever that switch does, but if they short onto the chassis or something, you're probably going to lose a 12 volt line or something. So best to cover them up and get them out of the way. Of course the tape's a bit stuffed at the end, but anyway. That's got them out of our concern. So originally you could unplug the speakers by the look of it. Where's the transformer come in? Yeah, it'd be those wires there. So at least Sharp did a good job of making it easy to work on, which was probably a good thing because they did need working on a bit. Maybe it was just some of them, but I know we did see a few for repair. And yeah, like I say, I knew someone who actually bought one to use and they had a bit of trouble with it. Even though it was a different model to this one. And the switches are all looking rusty and horrible, so it's not in a good way, but might as well see if we can get this thing going. I think I've got to... Anyway, I'll have a quick look at the mech, I guess, while I got it out. So it's a great big thick capstan in these. Almost a little thin thing, but that's probably 3 or 4 times the diameter or something. One race head and I guess record head. One playback only. You can see just 2 wires plus the earth. And the 2 pinch rollers stacked on top of each other. 2 sets of reels, so those like turn... Do they turn inside the others? They must do, but I don't know. How do they do that? I forgot now. Oh yeah, there's like, that's it. There's two sets of gears down here. Or is there even 3 sets? No, that doesn't actually turn. That turns the bottom 2. Does that... Oh, that's more like a clutch there somewhere. I'm not sure how they work now. Must be one of these works it. The thing is, that just feels completely free. You must have to engage something, I guess, to... Oh yeah, now we've got something engaged in play. Yeah, they're free. How do we select the decks? Oh, it was that lever that I just took off. I think it's this thing here. Ooh, yeah, something's happened. That one's now engaged and that one's engaged. Probably shouldn't move it while you're in play mode, but... Where are we? Play. that's connected to something. Oh, there's a gear on the back here. That might have been it. Ah, yeah, so that's the bit that's turning freely until you move this slider. That would be it. And there's no rewind, so that one doesn't connect to anything because there's no rewind or fast forward on it. There's only play. That's probably why they had to do that. So that's just a free spinner. There's no connection to it, but the take up reel in play, you've got to have it connected to something. And it's still connecting to something there. That's weird. Whereas the other reels, the lower ones, they got the normal idlers and bits and pieces. I'm not sure which mode we're in here. Still haven't got. When I press play, we're not coming across on this idler for the number 1 deck. Maybe I'm pressing the wrong. There you go. Dubbing 1, 2, continuous play. Nothing else to switch them, is there? Normal, high, off, tape radio. That's the only mechanical selector, so the 2 end ones that we don't want. I think that is, oh, I don't know. Yeah, before it seemed to. Ooh. I don't think I'm getting into that mode, is why. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's 2. I would have thought that idler should come across. Oh yeah, that one's free now, so that we are in the right mode. Oh, it's this wheel here maybe runs it. That must be the, oh, that's the play. So that actually is geared from the capstan by the look of it. That's an interesting one. Don't know why they don't do that more often, but yes, so that's our play idle. Yeah, we've got this pinch-roller, the back pinch-roller, which is the record play deck. When we go to rewind fast forward, that's what that little thing does. Then we have rewind on the bottom reel. Fast forward. Go to the next mode. We should just get this top one working. And we do. That's spinning, so at least look, this deck looks like it's working. And that's all that can do in that mode is play that deck. No rewind, no fast forward. So you kind of got, rather than a double decker or dual deck, you only really got sort of 1.5 decks in one of these, because one of them doesn't do much other than encourage tapes to chew. But I don't know why they had to modify the capstan shaft to stop it chewing. You think it'd be a real issue, but maybe this thing was slipping. And oh, the other thing I was going to check is in that mode, yeah, it's only the top pinch-roller engages, as you'd expect. So definitely on that other deck. Oh well, I guess all I can do is fire it up and see what it does. Is this a standard figure 8 cord? Looks like it. It's got a voltage selector on the back as well. Just make sure that's the right thing. 220, 240 volts. I assume if we unscrew that we go to 110. Yeah, 110 to 127. Come on. Back you come. Ugh, doesn't want to go. Sometimes they just fiddly little so-and-sos. Looks like we've actually got some Arabic writing on the back here, so here's an Australian model by the look of it. God, how much do I have to take that out? It should. Oh, come on. Just got to lift it or something a bit, surely. There we go. Something is sticking out. It doesn't want to go back in, whatever it is. Oh, what the hell's that? Does it have to go in that hole there and slide? Why won't it come back? That's pretty crazy. What a sharp done here. Starting to regret touching that now. Yeah, it does have to go into that hole and slide across, but what's stopping it? Oh, these two little things here. So you got to go in the 110 mode and slide. There we go, just got to pull it hard enough. So we're definitely back on 240 volts. Don't want to blow the transformer up, and probably half the other electronics in there while the transformer goes to double the output voltage for a while before the windings cook, which can happen. Now, do I need to screw that back in? I might have to, I think, which is a bit of a pain. Okey-dokey. What have we got? Tape, radio. Oh, I can barely move it. Oh, yeah, we got sound. Where's the volume? Ah, there. Who would have guessed it'd be scratchy with all that dirt and dust? Not much of a pot there by the look of it, just an open one I think, but I'm not sure which side I screwed it on, but anyway, plenty of cleaner now to fix it. They all need cleaning. What do I want? We've got a power light. Oh, we've got a fine tuning on this one as well, that's interesting. FM we're on. Oh, there's a radio station. Ooh, that didn't sound too good. Ooh, what's happening there? I guess it's bad reception. And a rather weird song. And FM's rather scratchy when it goes to stereo for some reason. Good morning.
Air-conditioned trains. But derailments remain a problem. A nationwide government railway safety report for the years 2019 to 2020 shows there were...
Fascinating. Okay, so we've got perfectly good take up there by the look of it. And that we're on that deck that doesn't do anything. Oh, both of them are running there. I'll probably switch to the full. Oh, I have. Yeah, so that's that deck. One back this way should be the other deck here, so it's turning. Rewind, fast forward, so it's probably in working order, this thing. But I won't put anything too good in the way of tapes in there. Normal off, oh, we're on tape. I'll have to turn it right down. That doesn't sound too good. That's weird. Yeah, whatever that's on. Off. So that's something to do with our friend's wiring job in this thing. Seems to unmute when you go press any function on the tape deck and hum a lot. So I wonder if he's... So these speaker sockets are wired just so the speakers are plugged in parallel. They don't switch off the internal ones. That probably hasn't done the amp chip too much good. It's not hot though, so that's a good sign. Now when I took that out, did I mess up the record playback switch or anything? Could be something like that. Better check the obvious, I guess. Where do I did see? Oh, there it is. Oh, let's put that back on. Oh, now we're not making any weird noises. Oh, or are we? That's interesting. After pressing that record playback switch, we're at least not making that same noise. Oh, there, yes we are. Oh, I think we've got a dicky record playback switch there. Come on, given that the other switches above it are a bit rusty and stuff, that wouldn't be surprising. Amazing what a bit of contact cleaner one of those can fix in tape decks. We've got a live moth in here. Go away, moth. Oh, didn't fix it. I think there's something on that tape, so... these things are terrible. And that's part of the problem. You've got to get this tape slid carefully down the capstan. I'm getting a bit of a crunch sound out of it, but that's about it. I can hear some music in the background. Very quiet, but it's there. Let's record. So that'll put a bit of a blank spot on the tape, but there's definitely it's not the record playback switch, it's the off normal high. What is it? Microphone on off dubbing. Oh, off normal high, that's what it was. That seems to be working well. Let's see if we can get it into the other deck. Now I don't know where I'm meant to sit it exactly with the no door on it. Actually sounds quite good. Okay, so both decks play now. I better give that switch a clean. I was kind of hoping there'd be stuff so I could throw it away, but actually sounds like the deck's actually running spot on speed, no wow, no nothing, so that's quite amazing. But yeah, every switch in this thing is gonna need a clean anyway, I think. That one's the rusty one. And I better do the rest, so I probably should do the... Well, the radio function switch seemed to be alright, but these graphic equalizers need doing. Oh, lovely smell of contact cleaner. And it doesn't have to do the record playback switch anyway. But surprisingly, the belt seems to be in good condition. I won't say it's mint, but it's doesn't look to have deteriorated at all. It's probably not quite as tight as it should be, but pretty close. I mean, who knows, it may have been replaced at some stage for all I know, but all this thing's just, besides being dirty, it's actually been in a good sort of environment for rubber. And the pintrolls are still pretty mint. And I've got to put that switch back in. Where did I put that? Over here. Filthy. So I'm going to clean that off while I can get to it. Because that is disgusting. that goes there. Oh, should I have left the tape? No, it does go in with the tape deck out, or in. Now where did this spring go? I assume it's got something to do with that bit and that hole there maybe. Where's that hole gone? That'll be one part, and that's probably, that's the other bit I think, yeah, pushed down on that little white pin that slides the mech into different modes. So it's certainly a unique design. Probably because it wasn't the best design. I'm pretty sure no other manufacturer went down this path. It was a uniquely sharp thing just for a short while. A bit like the Amstrad double deck VCRs that probably came out at a similar time in history. And I think they made a couple of different ones. One was like a VCR stacked on top of another VCR, and I think the other one had the tapes going sideways or something weird. But they were a good sort of gimmick, I guess, a bit of a novelty. And I guess that was the name of the game, of course, with manufacturers, is always putting something new on the market to keep the consumer interested in buying stuff. That has a lot of muck on the upper part of the capstan. That really doesn't want to come off. Sometimes you've even got to get a bit of scour or something onto them. The worst of it's coming off, I think. Where is it? It's here, right in the middle of the upper pinch roller, so someone must have given that number one deck a good run. Or maybe it was just a bad tape or two in it. But yeah, it really doesn't want to come off very well. I'll just give the pinch rollers a quick clean because you never know what's on them. There's certainly a bit of dust on this one. But there might not actually be much to this one by the look of it, besides the fact that it's got holes drilled in it everywhere, and I think I'll pull that switch out and throw it away. Oddball sockets added. But wasn't abnormal to do that sort of thing, especially when you're a kid and knew a bit of electronics. You'd often had headphone sockets or external speaker sockets and stuff to things, so that was part of the fun of having the ability to do those sort of things. Modify things to whatever you wanted. Add the sort of features that the more expensive one had but the cheaper ones didn't, or whatever. Because every little socket and stuff cost reasonable money in those days. You didn't sort of have the mass-produced electronic parts cheaply like we do now. Outside and give it a proper clean. It's pretty dirty. But goes to show it can be repaired. Oh no, I pulled the wire off the speaker. Let's get rid of this. Get rid of this switch out of here. How the hell did they get that on there? Looks like they bit it into the plastic a bit. Okay, yeah, I'm not sure if these doors are meant to be a high viscosity kind of grease on them or not. I had a feeling they might have been, but this is way too sticky now and full of dirt and stuff. But I'm not actually sure how that bit of metal comes out so I can pop the door off. Because it doesn't slide out. That bit goes, I think, all the way up there, does it? So it must come out this end. Yeah, there is a little pin sticking up, I think. That's what I would expect. I think it does come out the top. You just got to carefully prise this and it'll probably break. No, I might like this bit of plastic up, I think. Problem is, how brittle is it these days compared to when they made it? Just so it clears that little bit sticking up. Oh, God. Not really the right tool for the job, I don't think. There we go. That's coming. Probably got to get both of them loose. And it should slide out, hopefully. Problem is, if this breaks, you're in trouble. It'll all just come out whenever it wants then. I think it's still got plenty of flexibility in it. It's going to certainly shoot off if I'm not careful. Oh, come on. Not much to push against. That is as tight as. Here it comes. Hopefully that's enough to... Gotcha. Yeah, a couple of little bits sticking up there. That should allow me to get this door out. Oh, God, look at that glue. Oh my God, that is just sticky muck. I mean, there's purposely high viscosity sort of grease, and then there's whatever that is. Ugh, ectoplasm or something. Does that bit bend up on purpose, or have I broken it? Not sure. Still don't know how this door comes out exactly. Those bits sit on pins here. There's another part of the door down in another slot. Well, that must just slide out, but how do I get these bits? What is it? Oh, okay, so maybe these, do these have to pop out? Oh yeah, they do have to pop out. Oh, and there's a spring on it, so I might have to take the spring off, I think. Does that roll around? I reckon it does. Except now I can't grip the damn thing. Yeah. It's kind of off, but it's not off. What are you catching on? Oh, okay, so it doesn't completely come off. Oh, look at that. Hanging on by the skin of its teeth. I don't know how that's staying there, but it is. Ah, now we're getting somewhere. Oh, it's just disgusting, and that is just... I'm probably gonna say it's probably lift the whole door up, except it's not attached to the door well enough. Ugh. So that is some sticky stuff. Like, I think that is meant to run reasonably slow, but not that glacially slow. So I think I'll try and, oops, give me some more method. Try and clean off all these pins so they're not covered in it. So at least they might slide a bit quicker. This whole door is completely filthy. So you've got a little clear carrier thing in there, I guess, so you can see the tape in the second deeper deck, if that's the only one in there. So there's quite a few things they must have had to think about and design to get this thing to work right. And yeah, I mean, you got to give it to them for innovation, I guess, but like I say, it wasn't the most practical thing in the real world. And man, the dirt on this thing. Not that that's got anything to do with Sharp's design, but it is filthy for some reason. And well, the design just makes it a lot harder to clean. I have to shove paper down every little bit here and try and get all the grot out of there. Yeah, lovely. And yeah, not really a deck that you can clean the heads on yourself, I don't think, from the outside. That's another issue with them, I guess. Don't know why I'm even bothering to clean it up, but I might as well see what it comes up like when it is actually clean. twin mechanism double cassette, and I'll get all the grease out of this bit as well as all the dirt, hopefully. But the grease is going to be keeping that dirt in place rather well. So just, there's nothing that's not covered in filth. It's on everything. I better be careful I don't spread that grease all over everything else, I guess. I'll clean out the little slots where everything runs. Hopefully we get that door to at least speed up to a reasonable rate. I think I'm just going to have to remove all the grease and just, if it runs too fast, it runs too fast. If it shoots open or whatever, that's how it's going to be from now on, I'm afraid. It's always nice to restore these things sort of back to how they're supposed to operate, but I don't know if you can still get these. To be able to get a special grease, I think, for stuff like those little door dampers in a normal cassette player that make them run slow. Little geared thing full of gooey stuff. It's probably the sort of thing you could buy in the, would have been a part in the original manual for this thing or something, if it actually does use special grease. But it was the sort of thing you know, you could potentially buy it from Japan or something, but you never sort of saw it for sale anywhere normally. I guess some of that, the only other thing like this was that belt grip stuff. That was super sticky. Someone gave me some of that once. I think I ended up throwing it away and never actually used it for anything, but I think it's like an industrial belt grip thing, but from memory when you put that on something it was super sticky stuff. So maybe that kind of thing could be used. Okay, let's get rid of the worst of that, but I think even methylated spirits dissolves this stuff very well. Now there's a whole coating of it under here where the pins are. It's the hardest stuff to get off. Maybe I should use some of that orange sticky remover stuff, or orange citrus base stuff. I wonder if that'll dissolve this muck. Might be worth a try, I think. Because nothing else, well, maybe some terps or something. I'm just smearing it around the place, I think, more than anything. Where's those little bits? I'm going to spray a bit on one and see if it does anything. Probably won't, but if it removes the glue off sticky tape and stuff, it might work. Oh yeah, that's the job. Looks like our sticky remover actually does get rid of this sticky grease. Whoop, that piece fell off. I think I just broke that, damn it. Don't know why that had a super thin bit on it. Guess I should have been a bit more careful, but that's the problem when you've got such thick grease. I'm not sure what that did. It's more like just a cover to make it look better. Ugh, look at that stuff. So that is the Citro Clean. Only problem is that you then have the smell of that horrible stuff everywhere. But I tell you what, that is one good goo remover. I don't think it helps on sticky cassette belts though. I think I tried it on that and it didn't do anything, but I could be wrong. Oh, this stuff is so sticky. I'm going to end up breaking this plastic from pushing so hard trying to get rid of it, even with that stuff on it. But that is a lot better. There's a bit still probably around that pin there. Well, I hope I didn't need that other piece. Well, that's the same on this, because that's solid. This one was really flimsy, so I reckon that maybe it was already broken. What does it do? Oh yeah, it's just as thick as that one, so it must have been on its way out already. That's a bit annoying. But anyway, well, I guess I better get some of that onto the actual... I can probably put it on the... spray it on some paper towel and then use that to wipe it off. Oh yeah, instantly gets rid of it. So much better. Well, at least we've got a way of getting rid of the old stuff. Even if I haven't got a way of replacing it. Still haven't got it all out of that slot. Hopefully I can run this down there with this citro stuff on it. That seems to clean that side out alright. This side is just full of muck. Oh, I got rid of some of it. But yeah, it's not very nice stuff. It sort of gets in your eyes a bit and almost like onion or something. And probably not much good for your skin either, this citro stuff. Oh, come on, give me a break. That's better. Very effective. Okay, I'm going to get rid of those because they stink. And clean all that out. I was going to take those speakers off, I think, and clean them. Got the inside of the door probably as good as it gets. So now I've got to try and work out how to get it all back together. That is still disgusting in there. God, I've gone through half my metho already. Okie dokie, as they say. Now that went, I'm not even sure which side went where, so that bit faces inwards. It's set on that bit, was it? I think that's how it went. This could get interesting. I think that's how it did it. And that pin goes where? Nice if you went where I want you to go. Like it back into the tape deck. That is terrible. Is that how it goes? Those bits here go down there, so these bits must fit on here. The bottom pin goes into its own little holes by the look of it. You just got to get that down. Really not a good idea. Oh, come on. I think I got it right. Yeah, because that's where the metal... Oh, wait up. I had a feeling they went the other way. No, I think that's correct. The metal went in that way, I think. it's really not going to go back together like that, so maybe it is wrong half. Yeah, that's got to come up below those other pins. So these bits sit on that pin and below this pin. That must be the secret. I thought they were a bit hard to get in. That's because I had them too high. Hang on, I got that the wrong way around as well. That doesn't help with the pin bit sticking outwards. Okay, now it makes sense. They go in there. These next little pins go into those other slots. Well, hopefully they do. Oh god, what just happened? Yeah, that's clicked in. That's going in the wrong hole. Come on, you crazy little bugger. Down. I think that goes down. Yeah, that's it. Yep, they're in the right spot now. That comes and goes. These things clip into those holes. Now, can I get this spring back on is the next problem. Where's that bit of metal? If I can get that at least partly in. I don't think that bit being broken off matters. Still tight as well. It doesn't have a spring on it is part of the problem. Now, where did the spring go? As in, I know where the spring is. What did it go onto? There must be that bit. Yeah, that was it. Should be some brown glue. There it is. Spring has to go in this little hole here. Was it just in like that or something? That was it, I think. Hey, it's still pretty slow. God's still very slow. In fact, it doesn't seem to come out at all. So maybe it needs some more lubrication on it. Here it comes. Oh, so its speed has nothing to do with needing viscous grease by the look of it, so it probably actually needs some grease back on there just to get it to work. Well, that is super slow. I think they're always fairly slow, but man, look at that. How annoying having to wait that long just to get a tape out. I think I'll just leave it like that because there's not much point greasing up something that's not going to get much use. It'll probably be stuffed again by the time I go to use it again. So now I've got the problem of the speaker wires are broken off. So one quick thing I might do is just have a look under these. These probably need to clean out since everything else is absolutely filthy. I'm not going to worry about cleaning out the entire inside, but just the bits you can see, like that cassette door. And of course, if the face of these speakers can be seen through the grill. Ugh, filthy as. Just like I see, and you've got dirt all around that rim there. And it wants any dust removing from the inside there. Oh, dude. I think I should have wetted that down first. And there's actually muck in behind, so I'm not going to get that perfect. Yeah, he's got a silly grill right across the front of it. I thought they looked dirty. Just go over it and it'll discolour the cone for a minute. These are kind of half decent speakers in it, I must admit. They're not just your normal paper ones, they've got the proper sort of surrounds around them. Not foam, thankfully, which fails. Yeah, the dust caps are filthy. That'll do for just improving the look of it a bit. Okay, so I've got this thing a lot cleaner. Antenna's broken. There should be a handle here that's missing, so that doesn't really help with the look of it, but it does look a little bit better. Still a pretty horrible boombox in my opinion. I've missed a bit on the door there, I think. But cleaning those speakers out certainly improved things a lot, and there's just dirt on everything. And there's still a little bit on the inside of that door by the look of it. But we'll give it one sort of final check. I'll see if I can I get in there and clean it out a bit more? I probably can. Good. I thought I got that, but hopefully everything works on it now. Radio.
South Korea police have made dozens of arrests in a 4-month crack.
So that works. Let's get rid of radio. And where did I put that tape? Oh, I've got one screw to put back in. I think we're on deck 1, aren't we? Oh, 2. I lie. Oh, that one's running. Maybe that is deck 2. So it is pretty loud. I think these were fairly loud. The thing I was trying to think of with these while I was cleaning it came to mind is I think they called it, some of these a twin cam. Pretty sure someone called their tape decks a twin cam. I think some of these sharps were branded as a twin cam. It might help if I got the right deck. But I could be wrong about that. Interesting, that one's now playing slow. Even though it runs off the same motor. Can I switch that while it's running? Probably not. What's happened here? My switches stopped working. That'll be right. Okay, one thing I stuffed up is I didn't put that. There's a little bit of black plastic that side, and when I put that spring back on, I actually put it on top of the black plastic. It should have been on the other side of this little white lever, otherwise when you switch down, it doesn't pull the switch back up. So that was why it actually ran a bit slow. I reckon I was somewhere in between the modes. And why the switch wouldn't work afterwards. God, I've still got dust and stuff in it. It never seems to disappear out of this thing. But that would explain that. But it seems to run fine once I've got that back in place. So hopefully the last time I put the screws back in this thing. There's only 3 of them that actually function anymore. Although maybe if I found a couple more screws I could fit some more in. But anyway, 3's enough for now. And yeah, but the only other thing, it would be nice to have the handle for this thing, I guess, to make it look a little bit better. Does that still stay in there? And yeah, I would get very sick of that door being so slow if I had to use this thing. But I did notice that when you're playing some decent music in here, the actual tape 1, the one with the dirty capstan, is the one that sounds better, so I reckon that's why they've been using that one. The other one actually sounds, I should have, of course now I pulled it to bits, I forgot though, I should have tried having a go at the azimuth. It would be interesting. I might actually pull it to bits again and turn the power on. And turn the power on. It definitely sounds better on that deck, but I should really... I didn't want to pull it to bits again, but then I realised I didn't get that switch right. Come on, you slow thing. But it's only 3 screws, so not the end of the world. Oh, I'm in the wrong mode. You can see, this is so annoying. This is a normal cassette dual deck. You just press whatever. It's got that. It's got a bit of a click in the sound in it too. It's like it's not earthed properly. Oh, damn it. I was hoping to get rid of this horrible thing off my bench, but looks like I might take the cover off one more time just to have a quick look. Because it's definitely not 100% right there. There's always something, but yeah, I forgot about that again, because I finished up one day and now I'm back on it the next day just to finish it off, since the battery ran out and I ran out of time anyway. But let's have a look, Since these are a bit different, these decks, but they're certainly a lot harder to use than the other ones. Normally a dual deck, I think you could just press play on either deck and it'll play. That sort of thing. This one you've got to keep flicking the switch. Oh man, yeah, look at this. Now that is interesting. Oh yeah, there's a second, so the first head is actually mounted up on these high posts. Oh no, there's that spring there for that, must just be some other part of the mechanism. So you adjust the top one, that's got a little springed, doesn't seem to move much. Oh, there it goes. But that one's the one that sounds okay. And the bottom one looks like we've got the head set further back. So this one's probably a special sort of little head that's only very thin and got the mounting brackets right up front there. So that is interesting. Yeah, I can't remember if I've ever done the azimuth or anything on one of these things, but possibly. Now, are we in deck 2 mode? Yeah. That. Maybe get rid of Brian Adams so we don't get too much copyright strike stuff, but that shouldn't do that. So we've got an earthing issue. Well, even that one's doing it. So I wonder if someone's doing that. Jesus. It's not the deck itself, it seems. That's very weird. Something. Yeah, I don't know if there's a missing earth wire on the deck. I don't actually see an earth wire on the deck. So that may be the issue. Has someone removed... Though it only seems to do it when I touch the heads. But those heads, that head is connected back. Now, is it just because I'm adding a bit more in because I'm actually touching the shield around that head? That should not... Fair enough, when this unshielded head, maybe I'm adding a bit of interference and stuff. Let's connect to that. Funny thing was, I had a quick look on YouTube to see what videos are on these, and some guy was measuring the motor voltage or the switch voltage or something to this screw here, but it's just screwed into plastic, so that was on a different one, because that's why I looked it up to see they were called twin cams, some of these. I thought they were called twin cams, these shafts, but this one doesn't have the branding on it, so maybe they thought of it later. This might have been the first early ugly one or something. Yeah, now that's a bit better. It's certainly not the same interference, that's just earthing the heads to the chassis, but I mean, so maybe is it this plate's not earthed? Yeah, I think it's literally this plate here. Well, no, we're not getting the same interference we were. Very weird. Or it's this, yeah, this plate when I lift it up a bit. It's losing it, so it must be starting to earth a bit. If I push it down, how weird. That plate, yeah, that's the plate that moves up and down with the head, so there you go, it is. Well, they must, surely they have an earthen wire here somewhere, they don't seem to. We've got earth for the head plus stereo for the upper head. Guess we've got the same for the lower head, but isolated from the chassis. Ah, God, this thing. I should have left it all alone, I think. I wonder if these, well, that spring's insulated, that spring's insulated. That's fascinating, really, that we've got two pinch rollers on a shaft here and some springs. You'd think they at least would earth it. The slightest thing does fix it. I mean, I I guess they're not the best way to earth something, but surely the pinch rollers. And that's just a spring touch in there, isn't it? So that's not ideal, but yeah, that's another flaw in this sharp design, possibly. I say, assuming someone hasn't pulled it out, but it doesn't look like they have. So they were relying on something in this. There's another, oh, that's on a plastic post, so that's not going to do it. There's a plastic bit here. Well, there's a screw there. And it doesn't necessarily push down on it. And it's got grease on it, so there's one screw there that goes through the chassis. I mean, you've got the things like these buttons, you think a lot of it's actually quite well insulated, and the pinch rollers a bit only, well, they're on a plastic shaft actually. No, they're not, that's a metal shaft there. Oh no, definitely metal. Where's that screw? If that screw's shorted to the chassis, bingo. Or the pinch roller and its spring gets rid of some of it. There we go. Amazing. So we should be able to check that with the multimeter, I guess, and see if. We have 50 ohms. We have a very high resistance there, so that screw should be shorted to ground, yeah. But the 3K we got now, that pinch roller spring is grounded. That one's grounded, but the metal right against it was, oh no, now we're earthed, I think, again. Or not. Oh, wait, so what? Oh, so this bit's. Oh, hang on. Oh, of course, that bit. I don't know. Oh, so this piece here is separate, is it? Well, it moves with it, but maybe it's a separate bit of metal. Oh, it is, I think. It looks like it's, oh no, it's not touching. So what on earth, what is it? Moves with it, but it's not actually connected properly. Oh, I thought that was actually part of the same chassis bent up. Although now it's telling me it is earthed. We're currently nicely earthed, but it seems when you go into play mode is where it messes up. 120 ohms. Yeah, that bit's now not connected to this bit. Oh, now it's down to a few ohms. It's very variable. As you can hear, the scratchy sounds and stuff. Yeah, it's like that screw is completely disconnected in this mode. But that 90k. Ah, man, that's a bit annoying. This was meant to be just a quick job. Why is that bit of metal so disconnected? I can't actually see how it's not. It's a separate piece, but can I, if I just push that, maybe I can't really get down there to scrape anything. Yeah, that is definitely pushes up separate to it. I reckon just a screwdriver down there might be enough. I wonder if it's just got some grease or something. try and attack the metal a bit in there. So if we... the more you do, the worse it seems to get. And that screw, yeah, that is kind of sitting above. I mean, I don't know if you could put a washer or something on there. Still not making a good connection. Because that actually, oh, that does sit apart from it. Oh, I see. It touches when you're out of stop, but when we come down, it separates. You're kidding me. And that makes it a bit scratchy. Oh, that wasn't me touching. There's a spring there, but that doesn't go to... why do you have to be so difficult? There's something, just everything's probably got grease and stuff and disconnected over time. The only thing I can think of is put a flexible wire from this bit to that bit. Oh, I see. If I lift this now, that neck is down. Yeah, that's definitely completely separated. So what on earth's the thing? Well, what in the factory was meant to earth it. The only thing I can think of is putting something on that screw. Or is that screw looser than it should be? I don't know if tightening it's a good idea because it may stop things. Yeah, I might have fixed it. Maybe that screw's just loose. We've now got, yeah, connection there. Whether it'll stay a good connection. So far so good, maybe that's all it needed. Maybe it was just a loose screw now. Well, let's hope that fixes that. The next thing is, oh yeah, the head on azimuth. Which side has the spring? Must be this side over here, the right side, at least looking at it from here. So we need a small screwdriver, that'll probably fit it. Ooh, that's a loose as, so maybe someone's been at it. Don't know if I should really do it on Brian Adams, but at least that's a good tape I can actually hear the That's about it, I think. I'm going to stick the cover on this thing before I find anything else wrong with it. But it goes to show you can get all sorts of little niggling problems with these things, but we'll see if the azimuth still sounds good. Always got to test it with the thing back together. With the door, well, normally you do it with the door in place on a lot of decks, but you never know if the tape's going to sit quite the same in the door and everything as when you got the head out the open like that. I should have really probably put something on there to lock it in place since it was a bit loose, that screw, but I think we'll call that fixed. See how it compares to the other deck. I'm not sure if that's quite as good, but this takes so long for this door to come out. Then you're going to change the deck. I think they're pretty close now. Can I? Yep. I think we'll call that one fixed. If it ever gives my tape up. And that's another problem with it, you've got your tapes upside down in here. Not ideal. So your average dual deck boombox is a bit better than this thing, but it looks a hell of a lot better than it did originally. Still a bit scratched and knocked around, and various bits of damage. I reckon that might even want a bit of a polish, that door. Can we get away with that? I think all the writing is on the inside, underneath the perspex sort of thing, printed on the underside of it, so I think I might just give that a quick risk the polish on that one, because a lot of the damage doesn't seem to come off that, or whatever it is on there. Ooh, probably shouldn't have put polish on there, because it's going to be, that's textured, so that's going to be hard to get out again, no doubt, but a toothbrush will probably get it. Let's give it a good going over, because that door looking rough is probably the worst thing about this thing. At least if that looked half decent, the whole thing would look a lot better. I've got polish down that little slot as well. Polish absolutely everywhere. Now we'll get on the speaker grills. I think that might have improved it a bit once I get it all off there. Still some major scratching. This thing's had a pretty rough life by the look of it. Might need to go over it a few times to get some of the more of the scratches out. But I think that looks a bit better than it did. And still polish there. But yeah, she's pretty rough. But that'll do it. Yeah, could do a little bit more work probably, but that's not too bad. At least I got rid of some of those weird patches of what looked like dirt on there, but they're obviously some sort of scuffing or something. But anyway, we'll call that one fixed. It's certainly a unique design. The ones with twin cam on the front of them do look a lot better than this. This is probably the ugliest one of the whole range they made. I had a look online. There is, I think the one my friend used to have had the two speakers and then this weird angled subwoofer in it. That's something like what I remember it as. I couldn't remember if it had the subwoofer like the third one on the front, but I think that was the Hitachis that had that. It was one with a sort of big subwoofer and two speakers, but the sharp one looks like it was angled in on the top. Bit of a strange design, but at least that and the just a sort of two speaker version like this, the later, must probably be the later ones with twin cam on them. They're much better looking boombox than this odd looking thing. Now it is starting to grow on me a little bit. I guess from a distance it'd probably look interesting on a stack of boomboxes. And yeah, shame it didn't have the handle. Probably look a bit better with the handle on it. But anyway, thanks for watching.